Conventional war. A conventional war refers to a traditional type of warfare involving regular armies, navies, and air forces engaging in direct combat using conventional weapons and tactics. Civil war. A civil war is a conflict within a country where opposing groups or factions fight for control over territory, government institutions, or other political, economic, or social factors. Proxy war. A conflict where two opposing countries support combatants with money and weapons that serve their interests instead of waging war directly against each other. The Vietnam War and the Cold War conflicts in various regions are examples of proxy wars. Total war involves complete mobilization of all available resources and population towards the war effort, including civilian resources and infrastructure. World War I and World War II are often cited as examples. Limited war. A type of war where the leaders don't use all of their resources. Nuclear war. A conflict where nuclear weapons are used, potentially causing massive destruction and loss of life. Cyber war involves attacks on computer systems and networks, aiming to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to information. Information war. A conflict where the primary focus is on influencing public opinion and perception through propaganda, misinformation, and psychological operations. Trade war. A conflict between nations primarily over trade policy, tariffs, and trade barriers. These are typically economic conflicts rather than military ones. Drug war. The war on drugs is the policy of a global campaign led by the United States federal government of drug prohibition, military aid, and military intervention with the aim of reducing the illegal drug trade in the United States. Religious war. A religious war is a war which is primarily caused or justified by differences in religion and beliefs. Terrorism. While not a conventional war, terrorism involves the use of violence and intimidation for political or ideological purposes. Colonial war. A conflict where one country seeks to establish or maintain control over another territory or region, often involving colonial powers and indigenous populations. Ethnic cleansing. Although not always considered a formal war, ethnic cleansing involves the systematic removal or extermination of an ethnic or religious group from a specific area. The Bosnian War in the 1990s saw instances of ethnic cleansing. Border war. A conflict between neighboring countries over territorial disputes or border violations. Cyber-physical war. A theoretical type of conflict where cyber attacks are combined with physical attacks on infrastructure, such as power grids, transportation systems, or critical facilities. World war. A world war is a war where almost every country of the world participates. Cultural war. A conflict over cultural values like traditions, norms, and identity within a society. This type of war often involves debates and struggles over issues such as language, religion, traditions, and social norms. Artificial intelligence war. AI systems making strategic decisions and even fighting wars on their own, leading to ethical and security worries. War on terror. A global campaign against terrorism initiated by the United States after the September 11th attacks, involving military operations, intelligence activities, and law enforcement efforts. Trade route war. Historically, wars have been fought over control of strategic trade routes, such as sea lanes, rivers, or mountain passes, crucial for commerce and military movement. War of Independence. A type of war where a colony or territory fights for its independence from a ruling power or colonial master. Examples include the American Revolutionary War and the Indian War of Independence against British rule. Space war. While still largely theoretical, this type of conflict involves the militarization of outer space and potential warfare involving satellites, space-based weapons, and other space assets. Cold War. A Cold War is when countries are in conflict, but they don't fight each other directly with armies. Instead, they use things like money, politics, propaganda, spying, or getting others to fight for them.